Well, listen, I think the audience and the reaction was sort of all the recap needed, which is that Donald Trump is 100% in charge of the Republican Party and the conservative movement going forward. That's the reality. Our voters, the working class men and women of this country, the forgotten men and women of this country, they want someone like Donald Trump who's willing to fight for them, who's willing to engage for them. They don't want, and they are vehemently rejecting the establishment bureaucracy that got the conservative movement to where it is today. It has been on life support until Donald Trump came around. They're excited for that. They're a part of the movement. They feel engaged. It's just absolutely awesome to see. And the love in that room was nothing short of spectacular, Benny.
Yeah, I heard you use the term Lincoln Project Liz. Can you expound on that a little bit? That does seem to be the schism in the party, right? If there is a schism in the Republican Party, it's the corporatist, forever war wing versus the populist wing that your family and your father, as you rightfully said, invigorated. Can you talk a little bit about Lincoln Project Liz and what kind of a battle that is?
Well, listen, I think it's politicians, whether it's her or Mitt Romney or those are the links to that old GOP. The old GOP that told you what you wanted to hear but never went to bat. They never went to fight for you. They sent you to wars to fight in the Middle East for no reason. But when you see the difference, when I brought that up, I mean, I literally said the line something like, Liz Cheney's popularity in Wyoming is only slightly worse than her father's popularity in a quail hunt. And I think it's true. That party is long gone. It doesn't exist. If they want to revive that party, and the establishment elite in D.C. tried to revive that party, the conservative movement is over. And so we just have to get rid of those rhinos. We have to go to bat. We can't allow the establishment in D.C. to fund them, to support them, to help them get reelected so that they can keep doing what they've done for the conservative movement, which is absolutely nothing. So, that message resounded loud and clear in that room. And I think it's going to be a big part of what my father talks about tomorrow.
Yeah, Don, obviously we carried your speech and we watched it live, and it was electric. Uproarious, thunderous applause, people standing on their feet, welcoming you and listening to what you had to say. You had some killer lines. Can you give us a preview about what the other Trump will be saying tomorrow? You may have a little extra insight into that. What will 45 be bringing to the stage?
Well, I actually spent a couple hours with him this afternoon going through some of the speech and talking about it and stuff. And I think he's going to talk about a lot of the motifs that we're talking about right now. I think he's going to talk about, his results and Joe Biden and what you've seen in what could, I don't know how to say it any other way, would be a disastrous first, 37 days. We're already back in wars. We're sending missiles into the Middle East after Donald Trump got peace deals done. Joe Biden's not the moderate he and the media told you he would be. Remember, he's not going to cancel your job. He's not going to cancel your pipeline. He has a plan for COVID. None of those things are true. He's canceled oil and gas jobs. He sent more missiles into the Middle East than he's created jobs already. It hasn't been a good 30 days. It's been a disaster, reverting back to the failed policies of the D.C. establishment for decades. Honestly, and if you look at the way he is, he's clearly not all that there for the most part. So, when he launched the missiles into Syria, you start to wonder, was he even aware that he did this? Because it doesn't seem like he's aware of where he is most of the time. And all you have to do is look at one of his speeches to come to that conclusion. That's not me being mean. That's me being scared as an American that this guy could be in charge of the nuclear football. But alas, even the Democrats, Benny, are now putting forth legislation to try to take the nuclear football away from the leader of their party. I mean, think about what that means. I think they realize he's as incompetent as we all know and have seen, that they're actually trying to take away his power to do something with the nuclear football. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about Joe Biden, his presidency, and most importantly, the big lie that the media told you for years would be Joe Biden's presidency, I don't know what will. That kind of total lack of confidence should scare the hell out of every American watching and every American in general.
Yeah, more missiles than jobs. That's really good, Don. That's a good.
Benny?
That's a new classic.
Benny, fact check, true.
Yes, but Don, the missiles now say Black Lives Matter on them. The missiles say love trumps hate. All right? They're
Yes,
woke
as long
missiles.
as you have
They're woke
the
missiles,
pride
Don.
flag or a BLM sticker, it's okay. It's not the same because he didn't send a mean tweet, even if he's sending missiles. I mean, that's the logic of the far left these days. So it sounds funny. We're laughing about it, but it's actually really serious. That's how pathetic it is. And again, I imagine we're going to see much more of this nonsense in the coming months and years.
Don, we have 1 minute left. When someone says the GOP needs to break from Trump and that they're not the party of Trump, what's your response to that?
I think they're morons. I think they're on the dole from the Washington, D.C. elite and the Washington, D.C. establishment. There are those people. There's a few. The Republican Party has never been this united, but that doesn't mean there's 10 or 12 actors that are going to be bad because they've been able to manipulate that former system really well to make themselves really rich, to get on board seats once they retire. I mean, again, it only took 35 days or so till we started sending bombs back into the Middle East because Joe Biden had to keep the military-industrial complex happy. Both sides of the establishment have manipulated that system and been a part of that problem for far too long. It's that handful of Republicans that are just as much to fault as the Democrats. With Republicans like the ones we've mentioned, like the ones my father will call out tomorrow, who needs Democrats?
Call them out, he will. That is certain for certain. But the missiles, again, remember, Don, the missiles are woke missiles now. So
they are woke missiles. And again, they'll fact check me and say, no, 2 jobs were created. They won't talk about the 30,000 jobs that were lost, right? So they'll say that more jobs were created as opposed to talking about a net number. So in 2021, if you're a conservative, you have to be very accurate, Benny, as you and I. So we have to put that disclaimer in there. But yes, many more missiles were sent into Syria than jobs created by Joe Biden.
The missiles say love Trump hates on them. Yeah, okay, thanks, Don.